Hi, this is Sarita Dua with the AskSarita Team at Keller Williams, and today I want to talk to you about closing costs. What are closing costs? Who pays for them? I hear about this all the time. What does it mean, Sarita? Well, it really means something different depending on if you're a buyer or seller. If you're a buyer buying a home and you don't have all cash and do have a mortgage, you do have some closing costs. The closing costs are related to your loan, so that's the majority of the cost, but there's also a component that's some prepaid taxes. And then in the state of Oregon, the buyer and the seller work with a title and escrow company. That escrow company has to be neutral, so their costs are split between the buyer and the seller. The combination of all of those elements are what's called closing costs. Now, this is just a generalization, but let's say you're buying a home for $350,000 to $400,000. The closing costs could be anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. Really depends on the type of loan you're getting, as well as the tax base for that property. So the question is, who pays them? As a buyer, you're responsible for your closing costs. However, as a seller, we've gotten many offers where the buyer requests that the seller pay closing costs. Most of my sellers get, quite frankly, up in arms about this. Hey, I had to pay my own closing costs. Why do I have to pay that buyer's closing costs? I don't owe them closing costs. The truth is, you don't. As a seller, you don't owe anybody anything with regards to paying their costs. What the buyer's simply saying is, hey, Mr. or Miss Seller, I'd like to finance my closing costs. So if your home is for sale for, let's say, $500,000, and the offer came in for $500,000, but they asked for $7,000 in closing costs, you're probably thinking as a seller, great, I got my $500,000 offer, but I don't really want to pay their closing costs. What the buyer's really saying is, this offer's for $493,000. We're offering you $493,000, and then we want to save that $7,000 by not bringing it in and tacking it in on our loan. So once, as a seller, you take the emotional piece out of this and you get over the fact that there's no obligation here to pay anybody's costs. It's just math. That's a $493,000 offer. It's the same thing as a $493,000 offer with no closing costs. And then you just determine if $493,000 is acceptable to you or if you'd want to counter. There is no obligation, but when a buyer doesn't want to bring in those closing costs and wants to tack them on their loan, the only way to do that is add that to the offer and then have the seller quote unquote pay for them. So it's a little bit of a logistics thing, but the truth of the matter is it's important for you to work with your lender to understand those closing costs, so then you know the cash you need to buy a home is your down payment plus your closing costs. And as a seller, it's important to work with an agent like myself who can demystify this and depersonalize it and break every offer down by the strength of the offer and understand what your net will be after the offer and any fees that are paid for on behalf of the buyer as well as to the agent. I'd love to help you with both of these and to help untangle this mess called closing costs. The truth is, it's not that complicated, but having a great agent by your side can help make sense of it. If you have any questions about this or anything else, ask Sarita. We're here to help. Thanks.